Sometimes we come across a coin and think, hey, this is worth a few bucks, only to find out that it's actually worth a fortune. And guess what? Today's coin is exactly one of those. We're talking about a 2005 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark that could make you an instant millionaire. Yep, you heard that right, $1.60 million. Don't click away just yet, because I've got all the juicy details for you. Trust me, you'll want to keep listening. All right, let's dive into it. First off, let's break down this whole no mint mark thing. Normally, pennies have a mint mark. It's a little letter that tells you where the coin was made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and so on. But in 2005, there's a very special penny that's missing this mark, and here's the kicker. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It's 2005, and the US Mint is cranking out coins like nobody's business. Most of them go smoothly, but then, a small number of pennies leave the mint with no mark. This mistake? A big one. You see, in a world where a regular 2005 penny is worth just 1 cent, this particular error coin is an absolute gem. A genuine rarity, like finding a needle in a haystack. Except the haystack is full of needles. Why is it so valuable? Well, it all comes down to a few things. First, it's the rarity. There aren't many of these floating around. Second, it's the historical significance. Coin collectors love a good mystery, and a penny from 2005 with no mint mark is like a treasure hunt in your pocket. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, so how do I know if I've got one of these 2005 no mint mark pennies? Great question. You'll want to inspect your coin closely. Turn it over and look for any sign of a mint mark. If it's not there, you could have a gold mine. The real magic happens when these coins are authenticated and graded by professionals. And speaking of professionals, that brings us to the current market value. Ready for the jaw dropper? A 2005 no mint mark penny could be worth up to $1.6 million. Yes, million. That's not a typo. Can you imagine? You find a penny in your pocket and suddenly you're richer than you were yesterday. I actually had a similar experience. I once found a coin in my change that I thought was just a regular, old quarter. Turns out, it was a rare 1970 S-proof coin. Not quite as much as $1.6 million, but still a pretty sweet surprise. I'm telling you, sometimes coins have a way of hiding their worth, and you don't even realize it until someone with a magnifying glass and a lot of coin knowledge shows up. So, how do you sell a coin like this? Well, don't just go tossing it on eBay without knowing what you're doing. You'll want to get it professionally appraised, and depending on its grade and condition, it could fetch a fortune. Trust me, it's worth the time and effort to get it checked out. And if you do get lucky with one of these, the sky's the limit. All right, so there you have it. A 2005 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be worth up to $1.6 million. If you've got one in your coin jar, now's the time to take a closer look. And hey, even if you don't have one, it's always fun to dream, right? Imagine finding a coin worth millions just tucked away in your couch cushions or old change jar. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want more tips on hidden treasures like this and strategies for finding coins worth money, you're in the right place. We've got a lot more content coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. So, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and maybe tell me about a coin you found that turned out to be more valuable than you thought. So, you've probably come across a penny or two in your time, right? But have you ever wondered if that old, scratched-up coin in your pocket might actually be worth more than just 1 cent? Well, today we're diving into a penny that's worth, wait for it, $1.70 million. Yup, you heard that right, folks. The 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is not your average pocket change. Stick with me, and let's talk about how this little coin could be hiding a fortune. So, the 1964 D penny. What's the deal with it? Well, it all starts with the minting year, 1964. This was a big year for coins. It was the last year that the US produced pennies with 90% copper content. That means these pennies are solid copper, and they've got a nice weight and feel to them. But it's not just the copper that makes this coin special. It's the D Mint mark, which stands for the Denver Mint, that makes this penny particularly rare and valuable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The story behind the 1964 D penny's astronomical value comes down to a couple of things: mintage errors and rarity. Some of these pennies were struck with a unique error, double die obverse, meaning that the date and inscriptions on the front of the coin were stamped twice. This happened because the coin was struck with a die that had a tiny misalignment during the minting process. In 2018, one of these rare 1964D pennies sold for a whopping $1.7 million at auction. Yes, a penny, a single coin, for $1.7 million. I can't even imagine how much the person who found it must have freaked out. But it goes to show how valuable a seemingly ordinary coin can be if it's the right one. I had a similar experience. Let me tell you about the time I was at a garage sale, and I bought a bunch of old change just because it was cheap. I figured the pennies weren't much, just a handful of them in a jar. I tossed them in my drawer and forgot about them. Fast forward a couple of years, and I came across one of those pennies while doing a little spring cleaning. I was about to toss it into the jar of loose change again when something caught my eye. The date on that penny was a 1943, and it had some unusual markings. Turns out, it was a rare error coin. No, not worth millions, but it was still pretty cool to find out I had something special, even if it wasn't as valuable as the 1960-40. Anyway, back to that $1 million penny. If you're thinking, well, I'm definitely going to search through all my pennies now, here's the thing. Not every 1960-40 penny is worth that kind of money. The ones that sell for crazy amounts are the ones with the double die error. Those rare, perfectly minted ones. And, let's face it, finding one of those is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But don't get discouraged. There are still other valuable pennies out there that could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. Keep your eyes peeled for other rare coins, like the 1955 double die, or even the 1943 copper penny, which is another sought-after rarity. And here's a tip: condition matters. A penny in pristine condition, without any wear or scratches, will always fetch a higher price. Oh, there you have it. The 1964D Lincoln penny. One of the most valuable pennies out there if you happen to stumble upon one with that error. Who knew that something so small could hold such big value, right? If you've got some old coins sitting around, it might be worth taking a second look, because you never know when you could hit the jackpot. And before I let you go, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this coin adventure and want more tips on which coins could make you rich, or at least get you a few bucks, hit that subscribe button. I'm always here to help you with more strategies and secrets to finding hidden gems in your change. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of these tips. So, subscribe, and who knows, maybe next time, we'll be talking about your lucky find. Do you have a penny stashed away in a jar or tucked into an old coin collection? Well, it might be time to dig it out because that humble little coin could be worth way more than you think. I'm talking about the 1961 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard me right, a penny from 1961 that could have a value of, wait for it, $1.8 million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start eyeing your pocket change a little differently. So, let's dive into the crazy world of rare coins. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny from 1961? Come on, that's just pocket change, right? You've probably got a few of those kicking around in your house. I get it. You're probably thinking, it's just a penny. What's so special about that? Well, let me tell you, my friend, this particular penny is anything but ordinary. Let's start with a little background. The 1961D penny was struck at the Denver Mint. If you're a coin collector, you already know that mint marks matter. They're like the signature on a famous painting. The D stands for Denver, which is where the coin was made. But here's the kicker. The 1961D penny didn't have any major design changes or commemorations like some of the more famous coins. But here's where it gets wild. See, not all 1961D pennies are worth millions. It's the condition and rarity of the coin that makes it so special. If you've got one of these bad boys in mint condition, meaning it's practically flawless, like it just came out of a time machine from 1961, well, you're holding a potential gold mine. There are only a few of these flawless 1961D pennies known to exist, and that's why one sold for an astonishing $1.8 million at auction. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rarities? Well, you'll need a good magnifying glass and some patience. Look for signs like a crisp, clean design, sharp details, and no wear or damage. Even the tiniest scratch or discoloration can drop the value from $1 million to, well, just a regular penny. But hey, a penny saved is a penny earned, right? I once thought I found a rare coin in a pile of change at the local store. I was so excited. I rushed home to examine it under a microscope, and I swear, I thought I hit the jackpot. I was dreaming of swimming in pools of cash like Scrooge McDuck. Turns out, it was just a regular 1975 penny. So, if you find one of these rare 1961D pennies, trust me, you'll know. You'll feel it. Your heart will race, and you'll probably even do a little happy dance. I certainly did when I found a rare coin in my collection. That wasn't the 1975 penny, by the way. But here's the thing. Just because your penny might not be worth $1.8 million doesn't mean it's not valuable. Even less rare, well-preserved coins can fetch impressive prices, depending on the collector demand. So, don't give up hope if you don't have a mint condition 1961D penny. Keep looking and keep collecting. You never know what treasure you might find in that old jar. So, what can we learn from all this? First, check your change. Like, really check it. You might just find a diamond in the rough. And second, don't let your old coins gather dust. There could be some hidden gems in your collection, even if they aren't worth millions. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and it's always fun to learn what your old pennies and dimes could be worth. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting rare finds, and even a few more stories from my own coin hunting experiences. Trust me, you'll want to stick around. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket change. Have you ever heard the phrase, one man's trash is another man's treasure? Well, today, we're diving into a coin that might be jingling around in your pocket right now, the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper coin could be worth up to $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. Now, before you start flipping over your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank, let's talk about why this coin is such a big deal. Stick around, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. And who knows? You could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. So, what's the deal with the 1967 penny, and why is it worth more than a luxury sports car? Let's break it down. In 1967, the US Mint was dealing with some drama. There was a nationwide coin shortage, and people were hoarding coins like they were Pokemon cards in the 90s. To streamline production, the Mint decided to skip the mint marks altogether. That means coins produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco in 1967 all look identical because they have no little letter underneath the date. But here's the kicker. Not all 1967 pennies were created equal. Most are just your average, run-of-the-mill copper coins, worth, well, 1 cent. But a few rare ones have some unique qualities that make collectors lose their minds and their wallets. These special pennies have perfect, uncirculated conditions or incredibly rare errors, and that's where the big money comes in. What makes the $2 million penny special? The $2 million 1967 penny isn't just any penny. This particular coin is pristine. We're talking about a coin that looks like it's been wrapped in bubble wrap and stored in a time capsule. It's graded MS 68, which means it's almost flawless. MS stands for mint state, and the scale goes from 1 to 70. So, an MS 68 coin is a near-perfect specimen, and it's incredibly rare for a penny from this era to be in such good condition. To give you some perspective, finding an MS 68 penny is like finding a needle in a haystack. If that needle was made of gold and surrounded by regular needles, and let's not forget about demand. Collectors love coins with stories, and this one ticks all the boxes. It's rare, it's historical, and it's in jaw-dropping condition. How to spot one in your collection, all right? So you're probably wondering, do I have one of these magical pennies? The date? Look for 1967 on the coin. If it doesn't say 1967, well, sorry, but you're out of luck on this one. The mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. Remember, no mint mark means it's from 1967. The condition? This is the big one. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not going to fetch much. But if it's shiny, crisp, and looks brand new, you might want to get it checked out by a professional coin grading service. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I found a 1967 penny in my car's cup holder. I got so excited, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. I mean, it wasn't MS 68 quality, more like been to the bottom of a purse quality. But for a split second, I imagine myself on a yacht, sipping champagne, all thanks to a penny. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth millions, but hey, it was still a cool moment. Why are coins like this so valuable? Coins are like little pieces of history. They tell a story about the time they were made, and rare ones are like VIP tickets to that story. Collectors are willing to pay crazy amounts for coins that are rare, in great condition, and have an interesting backstory. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to own a $2 million penny? So, there you have it, the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's a tiny piece of copper that could change your life. If you've got some spare change lying around, take a closer look. You never know what you might find. And if you enjoyed this little dive into the world of coin collecting, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and strategies to help you discover coins worth money, and maybe even a hidden fortune. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one tiny coin, specifically the 1976 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A penny that could make you a millionaire. Today, we're diving deep into this extraordinary coin's history, how it got its insane value, and most importantly, how you can figure out if you've got one of these beauties hiding in your change jar. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be running to dig through your couch cushions. First, let's set the stage. The 1976 D penny might look like any other coin at first glance. It's small, copper-colored, and has Honest Abe doing his thing on the front. But this particular penny is special. Why? It all boils down to its unique features, minting quirks, and a sprinkle of collector magic. Back in 1976, these pennies were minted at the Denver Mint, hence the D mark under the year. The vast majority of these coins were your typical copper-clad zinc composition, but a rare few were struck with an error or unique feature that made them highly collectible. Some have an unusual double die, where the letters or numbers appear slightly doubled. Others might have been minted on the wrong metal planchet. These little oopsies from the mint make collectors go wild and rich. I used to think I was a coin expert. One day, I was sorting through some spare change, and I came across what I thought was a rare 1976 D penny. My heart was racing. I'm already planning my retirement in the Bahamas. But then I realized I was looking at a Canadian penny. Yep, wrong country, wrong year. Moral of the story: double-check your coins before you start Googling beachfront properties. Now, back to the $2.3 million beauty. The specific penny fetching this price has a few standout characteristics. Most importantly, it's in pristine condition, graded as a mess, 68 by coin grading experts. That means it's virtually flawless, as if it was minted yesterday. If you're wondering, how do I even check the condition of my penny? Don't worry, we'll get to that. The market value also hinges on demand. Coin collectors love a good story, and 1976 is a memorable year in U.S. history. It was the bicentennial, 200 years since the Declaration of Independence. Combine that with the rarity of this particular minting, and you've got the perfect storm for a multi-million-dollar penny. Always check the D mint mark and examine the coin under a magnifying glass for any unusual features like doubling, die cracks, or off-center strikes. If it looks promising, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, it's worth the small fee if you're holding on to a potential fortune. All right, let's bring it all together. The 1976 D Abraham Lincoln penny might just be one of the most exciting coins out there today. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things can pack the biggest punch, kind of like that one jalapeno in the salsa bowl that ruins your whole day. You've got a jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen. Inside, one of those coins could be worth more than your house, your car, and your entire savings combined. So, what are you waiting for? Start digging through your loose change. Before you go, hit that subscribe button for more coin tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover hidden treasures in your pocket. Who knows? Your next cup of coffee could be paid for by $1 million penny. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin. You're rummaging through a jar of loose change, maybe trying to scrounge up enough for a cup of coffee. You pull out a penny, an ordinary, brown little penny. But what if I told you that penny might just be worth $2.5 million? Yes, million with an M. That's exactly what happened with the 1972 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of this tiny treasure, why it's so valuable, and how you could spot one yourself. Spoiler alert, you might already have one lying around. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive into the wild world of collectible coins. What makes the 1972 no-mint mark penny so special? At a glance, it looks like any other penny from the early 70s. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, classic stuff. But this particular penny has a little secret. You see, in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies, but some of them ended up with no mint mark. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark anyway. So what's the big deal? Some of these pennies have a doubling error, known as a double die obverse. That's just a fancy way of saying the design on the front, like the date, 1972, or the word Liberty, looks like it was stamped twice. It's like the penny had one too many cups of coffee that day and started seeing double. Now, not every 1972 penny is worth millions, but a very rare variation of this coin with the doubling error and no mint mark is what collectors are going absolutely bonkers for. And why $2.5 million? Well, coin values are all about rarity, condition, and demand. This particular penny checks all those boxes. It's like finding a vintage car in perfect condition with only 10 miles on it. A collector's dream. Speaking of dreams, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I got hooked on coin collecting because of my grandma. She used to save every penny she found, saying, "You never know. This could pay for your college someday." Of course, back then, I thought she was just being dramatic. Fast forward to me as an adult, sifting through her old coffee cans full of coins. Did I find a $2.5 million penny? Not exactly. But I did find a few cool pieces that were worth a couple $100. One coin dealer even told me, "You never know where the jackpot is hiding." That stuck with me. Now, every time I get change at the store, I inspect it like I'm Indiana Jones looking for the Holy Grail. Check the date. Look for 1972. If it's not that year, move along. No mint mark. This means it was made in Philadelphia. Look for doubling, grab a magnifying glass and examine the date and the word Liberty. If the letters and numbers look like they're slightly offset or doubled, you might have a winner. Condition is key. Even if you find one, its value depends on how pristine it is. No scratches, dings, or discoloration. So handle it carefully. The current market value for one of these rare 1972 no-mint mark pennies with the doubling error can reach up to $2.5 million if it's in mint condition. Even if it's not perfect, some variations have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Imagine what you could do with $2.5 million. Pay off your mortgage, travel the world, or, if you're like me, buy more coins. All right, my friends, here's your homework. Go through every penny in your possession. Check the date, look for that doubling, and who knows, you might just strike it rich. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and strategies coming your way. From rare dimes to valuable quarters, we're diving into the change in your pocket to find the hidden treasures. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or are you just starting out on this coin collecting adventure? I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," you tell them, "It could be $2.5 million. Have you ever casually flipped a penny, tossed it aside, and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you one of those just a pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.7 million today? Yes, I'm talking about the 1970 D. Lincoln penny with a little secret that's making collectors go wild. Grab your magnifying glass and coffee, or tea if that's your thing, because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of this rare coin and why it's worth so much. Oh, and stick around. I'll share how a penny once saved me from a major embarrassment. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one, alright? So let's get to the juicy part. What makes the 1970 D penny so special? For starters, the D mint mark tells us it was minted in Denver, but this isn't your typical copper coin. No, this bad boy has a major error, something we collectors like to call a double die. Think of it like a glitch in the minting process where some details on the coin appear twice, like a shadow. It's almost like the penny had a little too much caffeine and jittered during its creation. This doubling is most noticeable on the date and lettering. If you look closely, you might see the numbers 1970 looking a bit off. Like, is my vision blurry? Or is there something funky going on here? That's the magic of the double die error, and it's what makes this penny so incredibly valuable. Now, let's talk money. A standard 1970 D penny is worth, well, 1 cent. But if you have the double die version, congratulations, you're holding on to a potential $2.7 million jackpot. Why so much, you ask? Collectors are obsessed with these rare errors because they tell a story. It's like owning a misprinted book or a Picasso painting with an extra brushstroke. Imperfection equals rarity, and rarity equals dollar dollar dollar. Let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a penny that turned out to be worth $50. Not $2.7 million. Don't get too excited. But hey, $50 is still a solid dinner out, right? So, there I was, cleaning out my desk drawer, and I noticed this weird penny with a smudge on the date. I was seconds away from tossing it when my curiosity kicked in. I Googled it, and lo and behold, it was a minor error coin. That's when I realized pennies aren't just loose change. They're tiny gold mines, so what's the lesson here? Always double-check your change. You never know when a random penny could pay for a vacation, your dream car, or, heck, even early retirement. If you're itching to find a 1970 D double die penny, here's what to do. First, grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop. Seriously, your naked eye might miss the tiny details. Look closely at the date and the words Liberty or In God We Trust. If anything looks doubled, distorted, or just a bit strange, you might have struck gold, or copper in this case. Check your coin's condition too. A mint condition penny can fetch way more than one that's been through a vending machine war zone. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can help authenticate and grade your coin, boosting its value even further. So, the next time you're sorting through your change jar, don't just focus on the quarters and dimes. Take a good look at those pennies, especially the ones from 1970 with the little D mint mark. Who knows? You might be holding on to a $2.7 million treasure and not even realize it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss our future videos where we uncover more hidden gems and share tips to make your coin collection even more valuable. Have you ever checked the loose change in your pocket, hoping to stumble across something rare? Well, today, you're going to want to do just that because we're talking about a penny that could make you a millionaire. That's right, a humble, tiny, overlooked 1981 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It's worth $2.8 million today. Yup, one single cent could have you retiring early and sipping cocktails on a beach. Intrigued? Stick around because this story is going to blow your mind and maybe fatten your wallet too. Okay, first things first, what makes this 1981 Lincoln penny so special? Normally, pennies from this era would have a little letter stamped on them to show where they were minted, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark for Philadelphia. But what we're talking about here is not your ordinary no mint mark coin from Philly. Oh no, this is a rare error coin, and it's believed to have been struck without a mint mark by mistake. Here's where it gets interesting. Coins with errors often get noticed right away and pulled out of circulation, but this little guy somehow slipped through the cracks. Fast forward to today, and collectors are going absolutely bananas over it. Why? Because it's one of the only known error coins of its kind from 1981. Rarity equals value in the coin world, my friends. Now, let's talk money. This bad boy was recently valued at $2.8 million. That's right, this is not monopoly money, folks. To put that into perspective, if you saved a single penny every day of your life, it'd still take you over 76,000 years to save that kind of cash. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I got into coin collecting because my grandpa gave me his old coin jar. One day, I spent hours sorting through that thing, feeling like Indiana Jones searching for buried treasure. Found a bunch of wheat pennies and felt like I'd hit the jackpot. Then, I went to a coin show and proudly showed them off. The dealer gave me a polite smile and said, "Nice try, kid." Turns out my treasure was worth about $5. But hey, you live, you learn. Fast forward to today. I keep a sharp eye out for error coins like this 1981 no mint mark penny. So, let this be your sign to start checking your change, because you never know. Tips to spot and verify the 1981 no mint mark penny. So, how do you know if you've got the golden ticket? The coin should lack any mint mark, but be careful. It's not just any no mint mark penny. Look for slight anomalies or imperfections in the design. Error coins often have subtle quirks. The better the condition, the higher the value. A crisp, uncirculated coin is what you're aiming for. If you think you found one, don't get too excited yet. Send it to a professional grading service to verify its authenticity. The current market hype collectors are willing to pay top dollar for this coin, and auction houses are seeing fierce bidding wars. One recently sold for $2.8 million, and experts predict the value could go even higher as time goes on. This is like the ultimate retirement plan, but way more fun than your typical 401k. All right, coin enthusiasts, it's time to start digging through your change jars, checking under your couch cushions, and maybe even raiding your grandma's penny stash. The 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny might be waiting for you to claim it. How many pennies do you think you've tossed aside without a second thought? That could have been your million-dollar moment. Don't let it happen again. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth serious cash, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Who knows, our next video might help you find your next treasure. You're digging through your couch cushions, searching for loose change to buy that last-minute coffee, and bam, you stumble upon a 1976 penny. But wait, this isn't just any penny. It's a potential $1.8 million jackpot. Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the wild, fascinating story of the 1976 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's making collectors lose their minds. And stick around to the end, because I'll share a little story about the time I almost tossed a coin worth hundreds. Yeah, hundreds of dollars. Don't be like me. First things first, let's talk about what makes the 1976 penny so special. You might be thinking, it's just a penny. What's the big deal? Here's the scoop. The 1976 penny with no mint mark comes from the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, Philly pennies don't have mint marks, totally standard. But here's where it gets spicy. A few of these pennies have been found with incredibly rare, near-perfect features. Sharp details in Lincoln's profile, a crisp, clean or no scratches, dents, or I accidentally ran over this with my bike damage. The kicker. It's all about the grade. Coin grading is like a report card for coins, and the 1976 penny has hit the top of the charts with an MS 67 or higher. Think of it as a straight-A student who also happens to win the science fair and the football championship. That's how rare this grade is. One of these pristine pennies sold at auction for $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right, million. That's a house, a luxury car, and a year's supply of fancy coffee all wrapped up in one tiny coin. So, how do you know if you've got the golden ticket? Check your penny for a no mint mark. If it has a D or S, it's from Denver or San Francisco. Not the one we're looking for. Examine the condition. If your penny looks like it's been through a tornado, it's probably not a winner. But if it's shiny and clean, you might be onto something. Get it graded by a professional. Yes, you'll need to invest a little, but if you're sitting on $1 million penny, it's worth it. The 1976 penny isn't even rare because of a minting mistake. Nope, it's just a perfect example of a regular coin that's been preserved in extraordinary condition. It's like finding a first edition book that's never been opened. Speaking of checking coins, let me tell you about the time I almost made a huge mistake. I was clearing out an old jar of coins, trying to declutter, and I found this weird, shiny penny. I thought, it's just a penny. And I was about to toss it into the Coinstar machine, but something told me to stop. Turns out, it was a 1958 wheat penny worth $200. $200. Moral of the story? Always check your change. That old jar of coins in your closet might just be a treasure chest in disguise. The 1976 no mint mark penny could be your ticket to a life-changing payday, but you'll never know unless you take a closer look. If you found this video helpful, or at least a little entertaining, hit that subscribe button. I post weekly videos packed with tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how to avoid rookie mistakes like almost tossing a $200 penny. And hey, if you've got a 1976 penny lying around, check it out. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune. You're digging through your pocket change, maybe looking for enough to grab a soda, and bam, you spot a penny. Just a regular OL penny, right? Wrong. That little copper disc could be your ticket to a jaw-dropping $1.9 million payday. Yup, we're talking about the 2006 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Grab your magnifying glass and maybe a drool bucket because today we're diving into what makes this humble coin worth more than a mansion. Alright, let's get into it. First off, what's the deal with this 2006 D Lincoln penny? The D stands for Denver, where it was minted. Now, most pennies from this year and mint are worth, well, 1 cent. But here's where it gets wild. One of these bad boys recently sold for a staggering $1.9 million. Why? It all comes down to a rare error. This isn't your run-of-the-mill penny. Some coins from this batch had a misstrike or double die error that made them incredibly rare. Think of it like a limited edition sneaker drop, but for coins. Collectors go absolutely bonkers for these kinds of mistakes because they're so hard to find. These errors are so subtle that most people don't even notice them. You might have tossed one in a tip jar or dropped it under your couch without a second thought. But if you've got sharp eyes or a trusty magnifying glass, you might spot that sweet imperfection. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his junk drawer. You know, the one with 47 rubber bands, expired coupons, and random coins. I found a 2060 penny and joked, "Hey, maybe this is one of those $1 million coins." He laughed, but we took a closer look just for fun. It wasn't, but it sparked a hunt, and now he's obsessed with checking every penny he comes across. Who knew pocket change could become a hobby or an obsession? Let's talk money. If you've got a regular 2060 penny, sorry to say, it's still just worth 1 cent. But if you've got the error version, congratulations, you've hit the jackpot. These coins can start at a few $1,000s for lightly circulated ones and skyrocket to $1.9 million for pristine, uncirculated examples. That's enough to buy a luxury car, a dream vacation, or, a lifetime supply of ramen noodles. Finding one is like hitting the lottery. Your odds are slim, but not impossible. And even if you don't strike gold, keeping an eye out can turn an ordinary day into an exciting treasure hunt. So, what's the moral of the story? Don't underestimate the power of your pocket change. That boring penny could be the key to financial freedom. Or at least a really fun story to tell at parties. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just a little bit funny, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coin tips, strategies, and stories coming your way. Who knows? The next video might help you uncover a treasure hiding in plain sight. Welcome back to the Big Coins Dealer. Now, I've got a story for you today that's going to make you look at your change jar a little differently from now on. Imagine finding a coin that could be worth $1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that such a coin is real, and it's a 1991 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Yep, that's right, a penny. It's not just any old penny, though. Stick around, and I'll break down exactly what makes this coin so special and worth so much money. Now, before you start digging through your pocket change, let me just say, finding one of these is like hitting the jackpot. But hey, it could happen, right? Let's dive into it. Alright, so here's the deal. We're talking about the 1991 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, that little D or S you usually see on the coin's face to show where it was made. Normally, pennies are minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But for whatever reason, a few 1991 pennies were released into circulation with no mint mark at all. Now, you might be wondering, why does that even matter? Well, let me explain. This is where things get interesting. The mint mark, or the lack of it, is a key factor in determining rarity. Most of the pennies from 1991 have either the D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But the no mint mark version? That's a rare mistake, an error that collectors went wild over. As of recent market trends, these elusive no mint mark pennies can be worth as much as $1 million. Yes, you heard me right, a penny worth $1 million. And no, this is not some fairy tale. The truth is, when it comes to coin collecting, the rarer the coin, the higher its value. especially if it's got an error. It's like having a limited edition comic book or a rare trading card, but for coins. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I have a 1991 penny, and I don't see anything special about it. And yeah, that's probably true for most of them. The key is finding one that doesn't have a mint mark. Here's the kicker. These coins were never supposed to exist, so when one of them does turn up, collectors are ready to pounce. In fact, the value can go through the roof, especially if the coin is in good condition. So, how do you know if you've got a winner? Well, the first step is to check the date. It should be 1991, obviously. Then, check for the mint mark, or lack thereof. If there's no mint mark and the coin looks legit, you might just be holding on to a gold mine. The next step is to get it appraised. Make sure you find a reputable coin dealer or use a trusted online platform to see if it's worth what you think. I once found a coin in my change that I thought was worth something, and I was sure it was going to be my ticket to an early retirement. Turns out, it was a super common coin that wasn't worth more than a few cents. But hey, that's the fun of collecting, right? You never know what you might come across next. And here's the thing. Coin collecting isn't just about looking for million-dollar finds. It's about enjoying the hunt and learning about history, too. There are tons of valuable coins out there that aren't million-dollar rarities, but still pack a punch in terms of value. So, even if you don't find that 1991 penny, there are plenty of other coins that could be worth something. So, what's the takeaway? Well, if you've got a 1991 penny lying around with no mint mark, congratulations. You might be holding on to a treasure. If not, keep on searching because you never know when that jackpot will show up in your change. Before you run off to check all your pennies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more tips, tricks, and coin strategies coming your way. You never know what valuable gems are hiding in your pockets. So stay tuned for more ways to turn your change into cash. And hey, while you're at it, drop a comment and let me know if you've ever found a rare coin. I'd love to hear your stories. You're rummaging through a pile of old pennies and bam, you come across a 1975 Lincoln penny and you're thinking, oh, just another penny, right? But hold up, because that seemingly common coin could actually be worth over $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.1 million for a penny. Sounds crazy? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the world of the 1975 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's not your average pocket change. Now, before you start digging through every penny jar you've got, let's talk about why this particular penny could make you a fortune. First off, it's important to note that not all 1975 pennies are worth $1 million. I mean, I wish. The 1975 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. That's where things get interesting. You see, back in 1975, the US Mint accidentally struck a few pennies that were supposed to be a regular design, but instead, they ended up with the wrong kind of planchet. This little error made the coin extremely rare. And when I say rare, I'm not talking about the type of rare that your cousin's rare Pokemon cards are, which, let's be real, are probably gathering dust somewhere. This penny is so rare, it could make you a small fortune, assuming you find one in good condition. Now, you might be wondering, how in the world does a penny end up being worth more than a new car? The answer lies in the world of coin collecting and error coins. Collectors go absolutely bananas for rare, mint error coins like these. And here's where it gets interesting. Since only a few of these 1975 D pennies made it into circulation, their value skyrocketed. In fact, one such penny was sold for $1.1 million at an auction. This isn't some made-up story, folks. It really happened. Imagine holding a penny worth more than a house. Talk about a major jackpot. But let's get real for a second. The likelihood of you just finding this penny in your pocket change is pretty slim. Most of these coins are already in the hands of collectors, so you'd have to be lucky or persistent if you want to track one down. Still, it's worth knowing the signs and keeping your eyes peeled when you're sifting through change. Who knows? You might just get lucky. And speaking of getting lucky, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was casually going through my old coin collection, which I'd inherited from my granddad. I wasn't expecting anything crazy, just a bunch of old, worn coins that had probably been through more hands than a popular vending machine. But then, I found this old 1969 penny that was in mint condition. I wasn't sure about its value, so I did some digging. Turns out, It wasn't worth $1 million like the 1975 D penny, but it was still worth a few $100s. I couldn't believe it. That was the moment I got hooked on the idea that your pocket change could turn into treasure if you know what to look for. Alright, now that you're in the know about this potentially $1 million penny, here's the deal. You don't have to be an expert to spot valuable coins, but it definitely helps to do a little research. Check your coins, especially older ones, because you never know when you might find something like this 1975 D Mint mark penny hiding in your collection. It's not just about luck. It's about knowledge and strategy if you're into coins, or even just a little curious about what's sitting in your spare change jar. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be sharing more tips, tricks, and coin spotting strategies to help you find the hidden gems that could make you a lot richer than you thought possible. Let's keep this coin hunting journey rolling, and remember, the next penny you pick up might just be your ticket to the big leagues. You're digging through a jar of loose change, just looking for that one penny, and boom, you stumble upon a 1996 D penny. At first, you're like, okay, it's just a penny. But then, you do a little research, and guess what? It could be worth $1 million. Well, okay, a little less than a million, but close enough. Yes, we're talking about the elusive 1996 D Mint Mark penny, and trust me, this little coin is making waves in the collector's world right now. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know why that penny you're holding might be more valuable than your entire lunch. Alright, before we dive into the specifics of this penny's value, let's talk about what makes it so special. The 1996 D penny, a product of the Denver Mint, was made just like any other penny, right? Well, kind of. In theory, most of these pennies are just worth 1 cent. But here's where the plot thickens. The rare ones, the ones that could get you some serious cash, are actually off-center or have some other unique minting error. This isn't just a regular coin. It's a bit of a treasure hunt, and you might not even know you're holding gold. Now, you might be thinking, how the heck do I know if mine's the jackpot? Great question. You'll want to keep an eye out for a few key things. First, check the mint mark. The 1996 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, so if it has a D on it, you're on the right track. But here's the catch. Not all 1996 D pennies are worth a fortune. The ones that fetch big bucks are rare examples with minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, or other quirky imperfections. Let me share a quick story with you. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, and I was just minding my own business, looking for old comic books and vintage stuff. As I was rummaging through a box of loose change, because yes, I do that, I found a 1996 D penny. At first, I thought, oh, cool, just another penny, and tossed it in my pocket. Then, after a few days, I thought, you know what, let me check this out online. Turns out, that little penny was worth about $5 because it had some noticeable minting imperfections. Not quite the $1.2 million price tag you hear about, but still a nice surprise. So, moral of the story, don't underestimate a penny. You never know what it could be worth. But let's talk about that $1.2 million value. That's right, folks. There's been one rare 1996 D penny with a significant minting error that sold for an eye-popping price. This penny, which had an off-center strike, attracted bidders from around the globe and ended up fetching over $1 million. It's not every day you get to say you could retire off a coin, but this is one of those rare cases where dreams come true. Now, let's break it down a bit more so you can spot the rare coins yourself. The most valuable 1996 D pennies are usually those with clear, identifiable mistakes, like an off-center strike. This means the coin wasn't aligned properly when it was minted, leaving part of the design off the coin entirely. It could be a small flaw or a major one, but either way, the more unique and rare, the better. Sometimes, double die error happens, where the design gets imprinted twice, making it stand out. If you spot something like this, congratulations, you might have a potential gem. Also, don't forget to look at the condition of the penny. If it's in pristine, mint condition, like it just rolled off the presses yesterday, it can be worth significantly more than one that's seen better days. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 1996 D penny may look like just another coin, but if you happen to stumble upon one with a minting error, it could make you richer than you thought possible. While most of these pennies are worth just a cent, if you find a rare one, you could be holding something worth thousands, or even $1 million. So, if you're out there digging through change, don't just toss that penny aside. Give it a quick look, and who knows, it could be your ticket to a treasure chest. And if you want more tips on coins that are actually worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give me a like. I'll be back with more strategies, stories, and tips to help you navigate the world of coin collecting. Have you ever picked up a penny, glanced at it, and thought, it's just a penny? No big deal? Well, hold on to your wallets, because that little coin might just be worth more than you think. Way more. I'm talking about the 1995 Lincoln penny with an O mint mark. Sounds like a pretty normal penny, right? You might be thinking, it's just a penny. How much could it be worth? Well, hold on to your hat because this coin could be worth over $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.3 million. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into why this penny could be sitting in your spare change jar, making you a fortune. All right, let's break this down. You probably already know that most pennies have a mint mark. It's that tiny little D or S that indicates where the coin was made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. Now, normally, a missing mint mark is just an oversight or mistake. No big deal, right? But in 1995, something crazy happened. There was a small batch of Lincoln pennies that were struck without the mint mark, and guess what? These pennies are worth a ton of money. But what makes this penny so valuable? It's not just the missing mint mark, it's the fact that it's rare. Like, you're more likely to find a unicorn than this penny rare. Only a handful of these 1995 no mint mark pennies are known to exist, and collectors go wild for them. The fact that it's rare, along with the condition, is why some have sold for over $1 million. Now, don't go running to your piggy bank and rifling through your pennies just yet. Just because you find a 1995 penny doesn't mean it's the holy grail of coins. There are a few things you need to keep in mind. The condition of the coin matters a lot. If your penny's all beat up, it won't fetch anywhere near $1 million. The closer it is to mint condition, the more it's worth. But what about the mint mark itself? Here's where things get a little tricky. Most 1995 pennies are supposed to have a mint mark. If it doesn't, that's what makes it rare and valuable. So, how do you know if yours is the real deal? Take a close look under a magnifying glass and check the reverse side of the penny. If you don't see that mint mark near the date, then you've got yourself a potentially valuable coin. Okay, now let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was at a local flea market. You know, the kind where you can buy everything from vintage toys to that questionable painting of dogs playing poker, when I spotted an old coin sitting in a dusty display case. It looked like just another penny, but something about it caught my eye. I didn't think much of it, but for some reason, I picked it up. Fast forward a few months, and I did some research on that coin. It turned out to be a 1995 penny without a mint mark. The flea market vendor had no idea what they were sitting on. I didn't sell it for $1.3 million because, well, I'm not a millionaire yet. But that penny went on to sell for several $100s when I finally parted with it. Not $1 million, but hey, a few $100 for a coin you almost threw away? I'll take it. So let's recap here. The 1995 no mint mark penny is extremely rare, and if you happen to find one in good condition, you could be holding on to a treasure. To make sure you're not missing out, keep your eyes peeled and remember, the value of a coin isn't just in its face value. It's about its rarity and condition too now. I hope this inspires you to take a second look at your spare change. You never know, you might just have a hidden fortune sitting in your pocket right now. But hey, if you don't have a 1995 penny, don't worry. There are plenty of other coins out there worth a pretty penny, pun intended, and I'll be here to help you spot them. And if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could be worth a lot of money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on future videos, trust me. So, you're casually scrolling through your spare change, and you come across a 1968 penny. You're thinking, piffed, it's just a penny, worth, what, a few cents? But hold on. What if I told you that very same penny, in the right condition, could be worth a staggering $1.4 million? Yep, you heard me right, $1.4 million. Stick around because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the 1968 S Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how this little guy could make you a lot of money. Alright, let's dive in. You probably know that pennies are typically not worth much, right? I mean, it's just a copper-plated zinc disc, right? But some pennies, like the 1968 S mint mark, are a whole different story. So, what makes this penny so special? First things first, let's talk about the 1968 S mint mark. This is the year the U.S. Mint produced pennies with the S mint mark, meaning they were minted in San Francisco. Now, these coins are generally pretty common, but there's one small, crucial thing that sets some of them apart, and it's all about the die variety. You see, a small number of 1968 pennies were made with a special die, creating a rare error coin. This is the one you'll want to look for. You're rummaging through some loose change, and you find one of these beauties. At first glance, it might look like just another penny, but a closer inspection could reveal the big difference. This coin was originally supposed to be a regular OL copper penny, but it ended up with a special design or error. Now, here's the kicker. Coins like this can be worth thousands or even millions. Now, the value of a 1968 penny can vary depending on its condition. If your penny is a regular 1968s with no significant wear or errors, it's probably worth a few cents. But if you've got a coin in pristine condition, and it has one of those error characteristics, it could be worth big bucks. And I'm talking the $1.4 million kind of big bucks. Okay, I can hear you asking, but how do I even spot these rare pennies? Great question. The first thing you want to look for is any kind of error on the coin. We're talking about things like double die strikes, where the image is stamped more than once, or misaligned die errors. These errors can drastically increase the value of the penny. But here's the catch. Only a few of these rare coins are in circulation, and most of them are in the hands of collectors. So, finding one might be like hitting the lottery, but trust me, it's possible. If you ever find one of these, get it appraised by a professional. And if it's the real deal, well, prepare to sit down, because you might just be holding a coin worth over $1 million. I've got a funny story for you. A few years ago, I was digging through some old change I found at the bottom of a drawer. I was going through pennies, as I often do, because, let's be honest, who doesn't enjoy a good coin hunt? Anyway, I stumbled upon this penny that looked a little too shiny for its age. I thought, hey, maybe I found a rare one. Turns out it was just a regular 1980-something penny that had been washed a few too many times. But it got me thinking, what if I did find something worth a lot of money? That's when I got serious about learning more about coins. It's not every day you find a treasure, but knowing what to look for could make all the difference. So, what's the takeaway here? Don't throw away your pennies. You might have a gold mine sitting in your pocket right now. Well, not literally gold, but you know what I mean. If you happen to find a 1968 S Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's in pristine condition or has some kind of error, you might just be looking at one of the rarest and most valuable coins out there. Want to learn more about coins worth money? Hit that subscribe button, because I've got plenty more tips and tricks to help you spot valuable coins hiding in plain sight. Who knows? Your next find could be the jackpot. Are you ready to hear about a penny that's worth a small fortune? Yep, you heard that right, a penny. But not just any penny. This one's a rare gem from 1993, and it could make you a millionaire. Hold on to your wallets, because we're about to dive into the fascinating world of the 1993 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's worth more than your change jar full of copper. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Really? But trust me, this isn't your grandma's penny jar. The 1993 no mint mark penny could fetch up to $1.5 million on the right market. Crazy, right? Let's break it down, so you know what to look for the next time you're going through your pocket change. Alright, let's start with the basics. Every coin has a mint mark, usually a little letter indicating which U.S. Mint produced it. So, for example, pennies minted in Philadelphia usually have no mint mark, but in 1993, something strange happened. A batch of pennies came out of Philly with no mint mark at all. Now, before we get into the specifics, don't go running off to grab your 1993 pennies just yet. There's more to it than just the year and missing mint mark. First off, let me tell you how I got hooked on coins. I was going through a bunch of old coins one day, just casually browsing, you know? I thought I had struck gold when I found a 1982 penny that weighed just a little bit less than the normal ones. Turns out, it was a special zinc penny, but it wasn't worth millions. Just a few bucks. But the whole experience got me thinking, how many more people have that one rare coin hiding in plain sight? That's exactly the case with the 1993 no mint mark penny. While most pennies from that year have a small mint mark, a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, the no mint mark variety was produced when the U.S. Mint mistakenly didn't add a mint mark to some of the Philadelphia pennies. These pennies were released into circulation, and for years, no one really noticed. Now, the key thing that makes these pennies so valuable is their rarity. The minting mistake was only discovered much later. By then, these pennies had already gone into circulation, so the number of them left today is extremely limited. Not every 1993 penny is a hidden gold mine, though. It's not just about the missing mint mark. You've got to look at the overall condition of the coin too. If it's in mint condition, like brand new, straight out of the press, it could be worth up to $1.5 million. But even if it's not perfect, you might still be sitting on a pretty penny. Pun intended. If you ever find one of these rare pennies, don't just throw it in your change jar. Get it looked at by a professional. I've heard too many stories of people finding rare coins, only to let them slip through their fingers because they didn't know what they had. You don't want to be that person. Trust me, it's a lot more fun to tell your friends you found a coin worth a fortune than a handful of pennies that never amounted to anything. So, how do you check if your 1993 penny is the real deal? Simple. Look for the absence of the mint mark on the obverse. That's the head side. Now, don't confuse this with a worn-down mint mark. If there's no mint mark at all, bingo. That's what you're looking for. And remember, just because it's a 1993 no mint mark penny doesn't mean it's automatically worth $1 million. Condition, condition, condition. If it's shiny and well-preserved, you're looking at some serious cash. If it's all scratched up or heavily worn, you might just be looking at a regular penny, and you'll have to settle for maybe a couple of bucks at best. Alright, so what's the takeaway here? Check your 1993 pennies, folks. There could be a fortune sitting in your pocket right now. Just remember, it's not always about the year. It's about that little mint mark, or lack thereof, and the condition of the coin. Who knew a small piece of copper could lead to such a big payday, right? Before you go running off to check your change, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more coin tips, tricks, and strategies. I've got plenty more secrets up my sleeve to help you spot coins that could be worth a fortune. And hey, maybe you'll find the next 1993 no mint mark penny worth $1 million. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep searching, keep collecting, and keep making those coin discoveries. Alright, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your spare change, the ones you've been hoarding in a coffee can since who knows when, and boom. You stumble upon a 1984 D. Lincoln penny that's worth a staggering $1 million. That's right, a single penny could be your golden ticket to early retirement, or at least a really nice vacation. Sound too good to be true? Well, stick around because we're diving deep into why this coin is so valuable, how to spot it, and what makes it worth its weight in gold. Or, way more than one sent me share something relatable. One time, I spent 20 minutes digging through my car for loose change, hoping to scrounge up enough for a gas station snack. Turns out, none of it was rare, and I ended up with a half-eaten granola bar. But hey, the dream is alive. That's why today's topic is so exciting. You never know when you might hit the jackpot in your own coin jar. Let's start with the basics. The 1984 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Over 5 billion pennies were minted that year. So why the buzz about this specific one? It's all about the double die error. Coins with this error are accidentally struck twice during the minting process, creating a noticeable doubling effect, especially on letters and numbers. For the 1984 D penny, the doubling is most apparent on Lincoln's ear. That's right, Honest Abe's ear is the MVP here. If his ear looks like it's having an identity crisis, you might just be holding on to something extraordinary. So, what makes this penny worth more than a beach house? Rarity. While billions of 1984 pennies were made, very few of them have the double die error. It's like finding a typo in a best-selling book. Only this typo could make you a millionaire. Also, coin collectors are a passionate bunch. When demand meets rarity, the price skyrockets. The record sale for a pristine 1984 D double die penny hit $1 million at auction. But here's the catch. It has to be in mint condition. No scratches. No weird discoloration from sitting in your pocket for 30 years. Basically, it should look like it just left the mint yesterday. Now, let's get practical. Grab a magnifying glass, maybe a flashlight, and start inspecting your 1984 pennies. Check for the D mint mark below the date. If there's no D, it's not from Denver, and you can move on. Look closely at Lincoln's ear. If it looks doubled, as if Abe's ear had too much caffeine, you might have a winner. Examine the rest of the coin for doubling on letters like Liberty and In God We Trust. Pro tip: don't go cleaning your coins with soap or polish to make them look better. That's a rookie mistake and could lower the value faster than you can say, oops. Take it to a professional coin dealer or a numismatist. These folks live and breathe coins and can authenticate your find. Consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give it a grade, which can significantly affect its value. If your coin is legit and in top-notch condition, start contacting auction houses. The right buyer could turn your penny into life-changing money. I remember the first time I thought I'd hit the jackpot. I found a penny with a weird smudge on it and was convinced it was a rare error. I took it to a dealer, only to find out it was just dirt. But hey, every coin has a story, right? Even if you don't find $1 million penny, there's something exciting about learning the stories behind our everyday change. Each coin has history, and who knows, maybe the next one you inspect will be a hidden gem. All right, my friends, that's the lowdown on the 1984 D. Lincoln penny worth $1 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, it's always worth keeping an eye on your pocket change. Remember, one lucky penny could change your life. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more coin tips, hidden treasures, and strategies to make your hobby profitable. Hit that like button, share this video with your fellow treasure hunters, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin in your change. Who knows? Your story could inspire our next video. Imagine this. You're cleaning out your junk drawer or digging through the change in your couch cushions, and bam, you come across a 1988 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You think, just another penny. But what if I told you that single penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? That's right, one little copper coin could change your life. Stick around because today, I'm breaking down why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and the current market hype that's making collectors shell out a small fortune. And hey, if you're like me and love a good treasure hunt, you'll want to hear my hilarious story about a penny hunt that almost paid off. All right, let's dive in. First off, what's the deal with this 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Let me give you the scoop. Coins minted without a mint mark usually come from the Philadelphia Mint. But in 1988, something went wrong, or maybe went very right, depending on how you look at it. A small batch of pennies ended up being misprinted and boom, they became the unicorns of the coin world. Now, here's the kicker. The real reason this penny is worth so much isn't just the missing mint mark. It's because of a subtle design error. The lettering on the coin is slightly misaligned, making it a true rarity. This little detail is what separates your average 1988 penny from the million-dollar masterpiece collectors are chasing. Examine every single 1988 penny like a detective on a mission. If you find one without the D or S mint mark, don't get too excited just yet. You'll want to check the design details, particularly on the reverse side, where the error is most noticeable. And if you're unsure, send it to a professional coin grader. They'll give you the official verdict. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was at a flea market. You know, one of those places where you go looking for vintage treasures, but end up leaving with a weird lamp you'll never use. Anyway, I spotted a box of old coins. The seller said, "Take the whole box for $20. I thought, this is it. My $1 million penny isn't here. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But hey, I found a 1943 steel penny, which is pretty cool. And the thrill of the hunt? Totally worth it.so. Why is the 1988 no mint mark penny valued at $1.1 million? It all comes down to rarity and demand. Coin collectors are a passionate bunch, and when something this rare comes on the market, the bidding wars get intense. The most recent sale was at an auction where someone shelled out over $1 million for one of these beauties. It's like the Super Bowl for coin collectors. All right, so let's recap. If you have a 1988 penny with no mint mark, you might be sitting on a fortune. Check your coins carefully, look for the telltale design error, and consider getting it graded if you think you've hit the jackpot. And here's my challenge for you. Start your own coin hunt today. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money or just love learning about hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts and let's uncover more stories like this together. You ever hear about a penny that's worth more than $1,000,000? No, I'm not kidding. Imagine flipping through your pocket change and stumbling upon a coin that could change your life. Well, that's the story behind the 1987 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper that's now making waves in the collector's world. Yep, this little guy could fetch you a jaw-dropping $1.2 million if it's the right one. Crazy, right? We're diving into the story of this elusive penny, why it's so valuable, and how you can spot one. Plus, I'll share a personal story about a time I thought I'd struck gold, or copper in this case. Spoiler alert, it didn't end with $1,000,000, but it's a good laugh. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be running to check your coin jar. Alright, let's break this down. First, what's the deal with the 1987 Lincoln penny? This coin was minted during a time when billions of pennies were being cranked out annually. Most of them were stamped with a mint mark, a little letter that tells you where the coin was made. But every once in a while, a coin slips through the cracks without that mark, making it rare and valuable to collectors. Now, why is this no-mint mark penny worth a whopping $1.2 million today? Here's the scoop. Coins without mint marks were usually minted in Philadelphia, but the 1987 no-mint mark penny is considered a super rare anomaly. Experts believe it's a result of a die error, meaning the stamp used to make the coin didn't have the mint mark engraved. It's like finding a four-leaf clover, except this clover is worth more than most people's houses. What makes it even more valuable is its condition. Coin collectors use something called the Sheldon scale to grade coins, with MS 70 being the holy grail of mint state perfection. If your 1987 no-mint mark penny is in near-perfect condition, shiny, no scratches, and sharp details, you could be looking at a life-changing payday. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I went through a phase where I was obsessed with coin collecting. I'd watch videos like this one, grab my magnifying glass, and comb through every coin I could find. One day, I spotted a 1987 penny without a mint mark. My heart nearly stopped. I was already planning what I'd do with my $1,000,000, pay off my mortgage, buy a boat, maybe even take a trip to the Bahamas. But before I popped the champagne, I decided to double-check with a local coin expert. Turns out, it wasn't the one. Apparently, some 1987 pennies don't have mint marks, but aren't the rare kind we're talking about today. Talk about a buzzkill. But hey, I learned a lot about coin grading that day, and it made me even more fascinated by the world of rare coins. So, how do you know if your 1987 penny is the golden ticket? First, grab a magnifying glass or a smartphone with a good camera. Look closely at the area below the date. No D or S? Good start. Next, check the overall condition. If it looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not worth much. But if it's in pristine shape, you might just have $1,000,000 coin on your hands. Don't try to clean the coin. Seriously, collectors want coins in their natural state, dirt and all. Cleaning it could actually decrease its value. So resist the urge to make it shiny. Oh, there you have it. The fascinating story of the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew something so small could pack such a big punch? Rare coins like this don't come along every day, but that's what makes the hunt so exciting. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone looking for a little treasure in your pocket change, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what you might find. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more tips, tricks, and strategies to uncover coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more stories and advice to help you on your journey to becoming a coin collecting pro. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for enough change to grab a coffee, when bam, you stumble upon a penny. But not just any penny, my friend. Yes, you heard that right, a penny, no mint mark, 1986. You're sitting on what could be your retirement fund, and you didn't even know it. So, grab your change jar, and let's dive into what makes this Lincoln penny so insanely valuable. You're about to fall in love with pocket change. First things first, What's the deal with this 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? Let's break it down. Normally, U.S. pennies have a little letter below the date that tells you where they were minted, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark at all, which usually means Philadelphia. But here's the kicker. A 1986 penny with no mint mark shouldn't exist. It's a minting error, and collectors absolutely lose their minds over errors like this. Now, what makes this specific penny worth $1.3 million? Well, let me tell you, it's not because it can recite the Gettysburg Address. It's all about rarity. The mint accidentally left off the mark on a few coins, and finding one in pristine condition is like finding Bigfoot, but with better resale value. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was at a garage sale, just killing time. I spotted a jar of pennies, $2 for the whole thing. I thought, why not? Turns out, there was no $1 million penny in there, but it did have a wheat penny from 1943 worth about $20. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a dusty jar of coins. Who knows? Your next find could be a 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. But back to our star coin. To cash in, the condition is key. If your penny looks like it's been run over by a lawnmower, you're probably out of luck. But if it's in mint state, jackpot. Experts recommend getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify its authenticity and give it a grade, which can significantly impact its value. Let's talk market value. In 2024, a collector shelled out $1.3 million for one of these bad boys at an auction. Why? Because serious collectors will do just about anything to complete their collection. It's like Pokemon cards for adults, but way more lucrative. Even if your coin doesn't fetch 7 figures, it could still be worth tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not bad for a penny, right? Most people don't even know this coin exists. So, if you're the kind of person who gets weird looks for saying, "Let's check our pocket change," joke's on them. You're the one with the potential fortune hiding in plain sight. So, what have we learned today? Check your coins, people. That 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could turn a boring Tuesday into the best day of your life. Go dig through your couch, raid your change jar, or sweet-talk your grandma into letting you look at her old coin collection. You never know. Your financial miracle might just be waiting for you. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. We're here to turn your spare change into big bucks, one penny at a time. And hey, if you find that $1 million penny, don't forget to send me a postcard from your new yacht. Have you ever looked at a regular penny and thought, this thing is barely worth picking up, let alone saving? Well, today's penny story might change your mind. What if I told you there's a 2018 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny out there that's worth $1.40 million? Yeah, you heard me right. That's more than a brand new Lamborghini, a dream house, or a lifetime supply of tacos. So, grab your change jar, settle in, and let's dive into why this tiny copper coin is making such a huge splash in the coin collecting world. Let's start with the basics. The 2018 D penny, minted in Denver, hence the D mark, isn't rare in and of itself. Billions were made, and most are just like the ones jingling around in your car's cup holder. But this isn't a story about most. It's a story about one. This particular penny is special because of its error. Coin errors are like typos in money-making, and collectors go wild for them. In the case of the $1.4 million penny, we're talking about a striking error, literally. The design was struck twice, creating a doubled image of Lincoln and the text on the coin. It's like Lincoln's doing a 3D photo shoot right on the penny. These errors are called double dies, and they're like the unicorns of the coin world. Incredibly rare and insanely valuable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Not every double die is worth millions. It depends on the severity of the doubling, the coin's condition, and how many people are willing to fight over it at auction. This 2018 D penny? It checks all the boxes. The doubling is so clear, even a casual collector would notice. It's in near-perfect condition, probably never saw the inside of a vending machine, and it hit the market at just the right time, when collectors were hungry for something new and exciting. Let me share a quick story to make this hit home. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale. Not because I needed anything, but because who doesn't love digging through other people's stuff? Anyway, I spotted this dusty jar of coins. The lady running the sale says, "Oh, that's just junk change. You can have the whole jar for $5. $5? Sold." Later, while sorting through it, I found a 1995 double-die penny worth $50. Not quite $1.4 million, but hey, still a win, right? My point is, these hidden treasures can pop up anywhere. Okay, back to the 2018 D penny. What's driving its insane value right now is the demand. Collectors are obsessed with modern coins that have unusual features because they're so rare. Most people think valuable coins are all old, but this proves otherwise. And here's a fun fact. The penny was sold at auction for that jaw-dropping $1.4 million price tag. Imagine finding that in your pocket. I'd probably faint, then frame it. No vending machine or wishing fountain for that baby. So, what's the takeaway here? Always, always check your change. You never know when a little copper coin could turn into a golden opportunity. And hey, even if you don't find a $1.4 million penny, coin collecting is a fun way to learn some history, make a little extra cash, and maybe even discover a hidden hobby. Now, before you go rummaging through your couch cushions or storming a garage sale, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money, strategies to grow your collection, and maybe even a few tales of my own collecting adventures. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, even the smallest change can make the biggest difference. Did you know that you could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it? I'm talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yep, that little copper coin you've probably tossed into a jar or under the couch cushions might just be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Stick around because I'll be sharing why this penny is so valuable, what to look for, and, get this, how one tiny mistake turned into a massive payday for some lucky folks. Before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car. You know how it is, crumbs, old receipts, and a random collection of coins that somehow escape every cup holder. As I was tossing pennies into a jar, I spotted one that looked weird. I didn't think much of it at the time, but later, I found out it was a rare coin worth $50. Let me tell you, that was the best $50 I ever made off a dirty car floor. Imagine finding one worth $1.5 million instead. Now that's a story you'd never stop telling at parties. All right, let's get into the details of this incredible penny. First off, the 1967 penny isn't rare because of a mint mark or lack thereof. In fact, no pennies from that year have a mint mark. Why? Because the U.S. Mint decided to skip mint marks entirely in 1965, 1966, and 1967. They wanted to discourage coin hoarding during a coin shortage. So, if your 1967 penny doesn't have a mint mark, don't get too excited just yet. That's completely normal. There's something unique about a few 1967 pennies that sets them apart and skyrockets their value. Some were accidentally struck using experimental materials or by mistake. These error coins are like golden tickets in the world of coin collecting. The value comes down to rarity, condition, and a little thing called collector demand. There's one particular 1967 penny that has become the holy grail for collectors. It's made of bronze, but has unusual characteristics due to an experimental minting process. Coins like this are so rare that they're basically unicorns of the coin world. And when wealthy collectors get involved, bidding wars drive the price sky-high. One verified 1967 penny with these special traits recently sold for $1.5 million at auction. Imagine holding $1 million piece of history in your hand. Crazy, right? How do you know if your 1967 penny is the one? Check for any unusual markings, double strikes, or misalignments. Error coins are like typos in the coin world. They weren't supposed to happen, but they did if your penny feels a little heavier, lighter, or just off. It might be made from an experimental alloy. If you think you've hit the jackpot, take your penny to a reputable coin dealer or grading service. They'll confirm if it's the real deal. Here's another little story for you. My friend found a penny from the 1960s in their backyard while gardening. It looked shiny and strange, so they brought it to me, the coin expert, their words, not mine. Turns out, it wasn't anything rare, but they were still thrilled to learn it was worth a few bucks. They bought coffee with it. Missed opportunity, I know. Moral of the story? Always check your pennies before spending them on caffeine. Now you know why the 1967 no mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth a fortune. But remember, not every old coin is valuable, unless you're talking sentimental value, like that penny from your first piggy bank. Before you go digging through your couch cushions or raiding your grandparents' coin jar, here's a little advice. Patience is key. Coin hunting is like fishing. Sometimes you get a big catch, and sometimes you just end up with a story. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and fun facts about currency every week. Who knows? The next video could help you discover another hidden treasure. Imagine this. You're rummaging through an old jar of pennies, probably looking for enough spare change for a coffee, and boom, you find a penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, folks. We're talking about the legendary 1969 D. Lincoln penny, a little coin with a big price tag. But what makes it so special? Why would anyone fork over that kind of cash for 1 cent? Stick around, because today, I'll walk you through the fascinating story of this penny, how to spot one, and how my own near miss with a valuable coin still haunts me to this day. Let's dive in. What's the deal with the 1969 D. Lincoln penny? First off, let's set the stage. The D stands for Denver, where this penny was minted in 1969. On the surface, it looks like any old Lincoln penny. Good ol' honest Abe staring thoughtfully to the right, and the Lincoln Memorial chilling on the back. But here's the kicker. A specific error on some 1969 D pennies has turned them into literal treasure. We're talking about a double die obverse. Fancy term, right? Basically, it means the front of the coin, Abe's face, the "In God We Trust" motto, the Liberty inscription, and the year. Looks like it was stamped twice. If you've ever tried to write a straight line after 3 cups of coffee, you know what I mean. It's like the coin had a momentary hiccup during production. This error is super rare, and rarity equals money in the coin world. Okay, so why the big bucks? It all comes down to supply and demand. Only a handful of these double die errors have been discovered. When collectors catch wind of something this scarce, they lose their minds and open their wallets. One of these bad boys sold for a whopping $1.6 million at auction recently, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever. But hold up, before you start tearing apart your knot, every 1969 D penny is a jackpot. Most are worth, well, 1 cent. You've got to know what to look for, which leads me to the D mint mark. Make sure it's a Denver mint coin. Look for that little D under the year 1969. Doubling on the obverse. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling on Lincoln's face, Liberty, and In God We Trust. The doubling is bold, not subtle. Think obvious, like trying to wear 2 pairs of sunglasses at once. Condition matters. Coins in mint condition fetch the highest prices. If your penny looks like it's been run over by a lawnmower, it's probably not the $1 million variety. I once found a 1969 penny when I was a teenager. I thought I'd struck gold, or copper in this case. I ran to my dad like Charlie from Willy Wonka, only for him to burst my bubble. No mint mark, no doubling, just a plain OL penny. I've been obsessively checking coins ever since. Learn from my heartbreak, people. The coin market can be like the stock market. Values fluctuate based on interest, scarcity, and trends. As of now, the most pristine 1969 D double die pennies are fetching prices close to the $1 million mark. Even lower-grade versions can still sell for tens of thousands. Imagine turning pocket change into a new car, or even a house. Wild, right? Proof that even the smallest things can pack a serious punch. Who knew a humble 1 cent coin could be worth enough to change your life? Now it's your turn. Go raid your piggy banks, check that change jar, and maybe even ask Grandma to let you peek at her old coin stash. And hey, if you love learning about coins worth big bucks or just want to hear more crazy stories about pocket change that can make you rich, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies to share. Let's make some sense, literally. Ever wondered if that humble penny sitting in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire? Well, buckle up, because today, we're talking about one of the most intriguing coins out there, the 1978 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, a simple penny that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Let's dive in and find out what makes this little copper wonder so special. Spoiler alert, you might want to grab your change jar after this video. Alright, so first, let's talk about why this penny is such a big deal. The 1978 Abraham Lincoln penny typically features a mint mark. For those new to the coin world, a mint mark is that tiny letter, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco, that tells you where the coin was made. But in some very rare cases, a penny from 1978 popped out of the Philadelphia Mint without any mint mark at all. It's like the coin decided, nah, I'm going incognito. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but how does that turn a penny into $1.7 million? Great question. The no mint mark pennies are considered errors, and in the coin collecting world, errors are like treasure. Think of it this way. It's the same as a rare Pokemon card or a misprinted baseball card. It's the rarity that drives collectors wild. And when a collector wants something bad enough, they're willing to pay a fortune. Here's where it gets interesting. Not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. Condition is everything. If you've got one that's been through the washer and dryer 17 times, sorry to say, it's probably not worth much. But if you find one in pristine condition, shiny, crisp, and looking like it just rolled out of the mint yesterday, then we're talking serious cash. I remember the first time I heard about these rare pennies. I was digging through my old coin jar, hoping for a miracle. Did I find one? Nope. But I did find a Canadian penny, which I guess is cool if you're in Canada. The point is, you never know what you'll find, and that's half the fun. So, how do you know if you've got a 1978 no mint mark penny worth millions? First, grab a magnifying glass. You're looking for a penny with no little letter under the date. Next, check the condition. If it looks good, consider getting it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC will evaluate your coin and give it a grade that determines its value. Trust me, it's worth it. Let's talk numbers. The $1.7 million price tag isn't a random guess. That's what one of these pennies sold for at auction not too long ago. Imagine that. A single penny paying off your mortgage, student loans, and probably funding a vacation or two. Don't underestimate the coins in your pocket. That spare change could be a hidden fortune. The next time you're bored, instead of scrolling social media, grab your piggy bank and start hunting. Who knows, you might stumble upon the 1978 no mint mark penny and change your life forever. And hey, if you found this video helpful, or at least a little entertaining, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich. So stick around, because your treasure hunt is just getting started.